Welcome back to J&B Lightworkers. I'm Beth. I'm a holistic psychotherapist, and this is Judy. Judy is a medium, angel reader, intuitive psychic, and woman extraordinaire. Hi, Judy. How are you today?
No, I'm doing great. I love I'm the
You
extraordinaire.
are. You
Oh my
are.
goodness.
We all kind of are
Well,
extraordinary, aren't we?
that's exactly what I was going to say. We all are extraordinary beings. We're all extraordinary because we're here. We came down here and we made a deal with God in a matter of speaking, and we're here to do what we need to do. And
So today, what are we going to talk about? What would you like to share about with your wisdom?
Well, I don't know. I thought maybe we could talk about, what we were talking about a little bit before, something about like divine timing, because that comes up a lot, and how, and just our journey in life and how it can change, just kind of,
Can I
and I'll
read?
try and stay on track here. So, because there's so much to say up there.
Are you channeling right now?
I have your sister here.
Oh, say hello. What does she want to say?
She says, I'm so glad to be here with you guys today. She says, let's get it on.
Get it on, girls. All right. I want to read something, if you don't mind, about divine timing that I saw this morning on Facebook. And I just loved it. And maybe we could talk about that because that's what you're saying. It says divine timing. It says start trusting in divine timing. Just because you don't have it all figured out doesn't mean you're behind. Your timing is your timing. What's unfolding for you is very sacred. You're being prepared for it. Every little thing is adding up, even when it doesn't always make sense. Trust the timing of your life. And that was Adele Ahmed. I think that's so powerful because that's the hardest thing for me to do is trust divine timing. I have such a strong will.
Well, and that's all that third dimensional energy that we have to kind of let go of, right? It's like, we want this now, and how do I get it? And the earthly things, you can, there's ways to get there. You just have to kind of figure out what you want and go do it. But in divine timing, and when we talk about that, there are people that will keep on trying to do something, and they keep on hitting the brick walls, and right, and so you have
I think
to
we've
those
all been there, right? All been
all
there.
yeah, oh no, we all go there because we all live down here, so we're all trying to live in this world. We're all trying to get by, and I think that so the journey of the soul and a karmic lesson for this individual, that, or any of us that keeps bumping into brick walls, is that, what, I need to take another road. I can get to where I want to go. So I feel in my heart, my soul. That's why it's so important to pray, meditate as much as you can, and really commune and communicate with the other side. But
I'd like to
it's just it's if you change it around a little bit, and you realize, wait a minute, what does God want for me? What is the universe calling out for me to do?
what's my higher self want, my higher wisdom, right?
Yes,
And one thing I learned about the law of attraction that was interesting was it will get blocked if it's not for your highest good. It's not just like a Santa Claus God that you say, I want $12 million and then boom, boom, boom. There are spiritual lessons, right?
absolutely. And it's okay to ask God. I have so many people asking me, can I ask God, is it okay to ask God for $12 million? Sure. You can ask God for whatever you would like. It doesn't mean that you're going to get it. It's divine timing,
Yeah, one time I was in a very, 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 very dark night of the soul, and I called you. This was a couple of years ago, and I said, I don't even want to be here. And you said, oh, you can check out easily. Go, you can check out, but you're going to have to sit up there and watch from up there, detached, what would have unfolded for you, and there are beautiful gifts coming. And I thought, oh, that was so inspirational to me, like, thank you. I just have to wait for divine timing.
Exactly, because there's a plan. And this is a thing, we're souls, right? And we make our plan to come down and inhabit a body and join a family. And we wonder, why did we join this family or this or that a lot of times? But there's a plan in action that we put forward a long time ago when we come through the veil, and we're here. And I think that and from what they've shown me, and this just goes back to religion, it's just like you get judged, right? And you get to see how your life progressed, where you're at, and what you missed out on, and what would have happened, down the line, and what your purpose was, or purposes unfulfilled, and then be able to come back and either do it again on earth or
Well,
up there.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about, you said justice. What do you mean justice? Like, is there a punitive punishing God up there? Is there someone, watching over us and saying, this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong?
No. So what happens is that we make a plan with God. And as we make a plan with God, we to come down to earth to pick we pick our parents and all, this God works with us.
But
He's
why
made
do we
us
make the plan? There's got to be a reason we made the plan.
for our soul growth.
Why does our
So
why does our soul need to grow?
because we need to
If
grow
we're up there
closer,
in bliss, why come down to this poo-poo show?
because it's a poo-poo show.
Okay.
Okay, and what I mean by that is the world, let's say Earth, because there's many places we could have gone to, but we choose to come to Earth. Earth is, especially at this time, is going through a lot, and we're going into the new phase, which we've talked about a lot on some of our other videos.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the journey. It's all about, your journey of coming down here and what your place is in bringing light to people. And it might just be, Mother Teresa's journey, joining, the nunhood or whatever you call it, and then going to India, and bucking the system a little bit to make sure that people were fed.
But why do people come down to bring darkness? Why is there darkness?
Well, darkness is ego. So that's that third dimension. So what happens, people come down here, and this is the thing of why don't you get that $12 million that you just asked for? Because once you get a bunch of money or a bunch of power, let's say, and where I'm talking, it's these people, oh gosh, I'm thinking of quote, I can't think about it. I can't think of what it is right now. But it's you give somebody enough power, you give the most pure person enough power, they're going to be a tyrant. So there's oh gosh, there's a very famous saying in that, I'm gonna have to look that up. And but it's so what that means is that, when somebody goes in to do something, let's say, one of the reasons we have checks and balances, like in our country, it's like it's not one person has all the power. It's if you look back in time, like King Henry VIII, he wanted a divorce, so he changed things around.
But aren't there some pure souls that could come down here and not abuse power, no matter what they have?
They can, but and I don't have all the answers, but they're probably gonna get.
I thought you did. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah. See, but those pure souls come down here, and they have to live in this world. Then they become third dimensional beings, and those are the ones I find that tend to die earlier. They tend to have like the 27 club, they call it, with a lot of artists that are great writers and poets, and they get into drug
like Jim Morrison and
Yeah, those and
Dennis and
Janis
Jimmy
Joplin, yeah,
and all those
and
people.
all those people. I don't know. We're kind of slow today.
What
Sorry,
about
guys.
them? What about them?
So, but a lot of people come down and it's too much to handle. And there's a lot of suicide that happens. A few weeks ago, Miss America who
Mm,
had
that was so
a
sad.
gorgeous woman in the head, we would think everything to go for her,
Depression.
had a job on like with ABC, some big company. And here it's too much. So we get
And
this.
that's a good question. That's a good question. So that's a mental illness. She had depression. It's a mental illness. It's a
Mhm,
distortion of your brain. You're trying to fix yourself with the thing that's broken. And I've
mhm.
had depression, and I have a lot of clients who've had depression. So what happens when somebody does that? Like when they cross over, what are there consequences, repercussions? Is it get out of jail free card? You go right to the higher good. What's happening with suicide?
So when a suicide happens, it's they go up, and they go through the same process as any of us. They're not,
What's
which
that process?
is you go up, and now this is I'm not channeling her or whatever, but normally you would go up, you'd have an angel, your a guardian angel, other people to greet you. You go up, then there is a council at some point, depending on your soul, depending on how traumatic things have been for you. But you go up and you go through a process, and Jesus is there. Other beings are there, and this is where judgment comes in. So, and it's not judgment in the sense of you're a bad person, you're going to hell. No, it's what this is when you see your whole life. This is when you
Have your
see
life review, right?
you're right. You see what you're supposed to do, what could have been in front of you, where you could have seen where things could have gone. Um,
So it's like what I was saying about you telling me if I checked out that I would have to watch what could have been. What are you talking about? Missed
but
opportunities
yeah, yes,
for
and
growth?
missed
Yeah. Okay.
opportunities, growth, just things, watching maybe your grandchildren grow up, things like that. But you
Oh
got to
yeah.
remember, it's when you watch it, it's up from up there. You're watching it from a place of pure love. There is
Hmm.
the judgment is gone. I mean, it's not there. It's just like, okay, this is what your plan was. This is kind of what happened. This is what you did. And
Did you fulfill your plan?
right. And this is what would have happened. This is where you needed to go. This is what we were looking at, basically. And now maybe healing takes place, a plan is made, and then a plan will be made to some people will come right back in, and inhabit another body, like almost immediately. Most people have some healing to do. And those souls tend to be the most beautiful
Evolved
souls in a lot of ways. That's why the drugs, the depression, they just
because
don't
they're so
have a lot.
sensitive,
They're
sensitive
very
souls.
sensitive. Yeah.
And this 3D world is pretty painful for them.
Yes, the earthly realm coming down here, it's a short life, but it has the highest highs, it has the lowest lows. It's very traumatizing for most of us, and most of us
You
make it
know,
through.
as a psychotherapist, I'm thinking about my clients, and I admire people who go through that dark night and come out the other side because I know how courageous they are. And sometimes society thinks that's a weakness, but it's not. It's actually a strength. But when I see them go through it, I know there's a higher purpose. And this is what I think the gift is of the struggle is more compassion, more wisdom, more courage, more enlightenment, more, less fear. and
more
and
empathy.
empathy, right? So I
And
think that that's what we're trying to like create through these struggles down here, right?
we are, and this is why we're bringing this, um, this beautiful life, our, oh, how can I say it? Just the light that we have within us, and looking at life more beautifully. And after you've gone through a dark night and you've come through it, and you choose to start living for your on your on that path, you you start, because not everybody does. Some people come back from their dark night and they get bitter,
Bitter
and
or
they're
better, right?
right,
Choice.
bitter or better. I love it. Yeah, they get. And if that happens, then that's when you start hitting those brick walls again, because now that dark night of the soul is not over. It's almost
So,
like you're,
so you have to keep
remember?
going through it until you get the lesson of love and light.
Yes. Well, yeah, well,
Surrender.
that's the whole karmic thing, right?
Oh,
And I remember Kay said to me one time, she said, you get through the dark night of the soul, and then once you get through the dark night, you've got to cross the street. So there is that, the meaning
what does
that you
that
get,
mean?
okay, meaning
Kay is
that
our
you,
friend in California. Hi,
yeah,
Kay.
yeah, she's great. And when you cross the street, or wait, when you get there, you've gone through the dark night of the soul, but you gotta find your path. You gotta cross the street to the beautiful place that, or your new life that's there. And that is about kind of brushing off the dirt,
I gotcha.
getting yourself together again, and saying, okay, I'm going to start over again. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to do things just a little bit differently this time. And I'm going to acknowledge God. I'm going to pray. I'm going to meditate. I'm going
I'm
to,
laughing so hard because there's when you get knocked down so many times, it's like, oh shit. Okay, I'm teachable. I surrender.
and
And they say in 12 steps, surrender doesn't mean losing. It means going to the winning side.
yes.
Sometimes,
Sometimes you have to surrender, and something that keeps coming to me, and I'm just going to say it with that lady who uh, killed herself, sometimes that is the right timing, and that
yeah,
divine timing for that person, in order to help to teach other people that, look, she's got everything now, and what was going on, and mental health, and why we really need to work more towards making it more available to people, and
making what more available to
mental
people.
health more available to
Mhm.
people. And she's up there in this beautiful place. She's done her
Mhm.
thing. And then, so these are things that we just have to kind of look back at that human being and that person, and not, oh, why would she has everything. Well, she was missing something. Or,
What if we stay up there, Judy, and we don't come down and we want lessons? Is it just a lot slower, or can we not learn certain lessons staying up there and not incarnating?
well, okay. Yes. Okay.
You have
First of
all the
all,
answers.
first of all, you do not. Yeah, that's got 2 or 3 questions and answers here. First of all, you do not have to come to Earth if you don't want to. Okay, it's not. This is a
Yay!
choice. Yeah, you can
I'll have to
learn.
remember that.
You can learn up there. However, it's much slower. The
Yeah, that's what.
learning is much slower, and so you don't advance as much in your towards enlightenment, and being that one with God, and being that truly enlightened being. Part of down here right now, though, is that we have since we're at that starting gate of the age of Aquarius, we're sitting here and we have a lot of star seeds. We have a lot of people that are very close to God that are coming down in order to help to break through. Now, all the light beings that are down here in these 3-dimensional bodies and having to live in this 3-dimensional garbage, we still have this dark side that's pushing. and trying to push the light out. We always know the light wins, but it's not,
When
it's
we go to 5D, will we not have the dark?
as far as what I'm hearing, we don't have the dark. It's all love. And that's why they're pushing us, down. They're trying to push us down. We're gonna, it's so funny because my son one time told me, he heard me on the phone talking to somebody about this. And he said, Mom, it sounds like Star Wars, because you've got the light and you've got the dark. And it is kind of like that. I like that analogy, because you see how much garbage and how much damage the dark does. I mean, they destroy worlds, they blow up all kinds of things. They just don't give up. But who wins at the end? The light comes through, the light wins the war after. And that's kind of where we're at right now. There's a lot of battles going on. And that's what we're feeling. And that's what a lot of us, I mean, being locked down, just being, watching the news and just
COVID,
listening to all this stuff that's going on in the world. That's why we need mental health people to help. And especially people like you, Beth, you do the holistic bent on the health.
I was actually thinking about that, and I was thinking about, I heard this and I love this, that I mean, I'm interested in psychology. I always have been interested in the mind, but I also think we've got to address the spirit and the soul. And I think that's going to be the collective healing. And I think that's why you and I are meeting together and talking about this, right?
Yeah.
Without that, it's even like Carl Jung says, only with addicts or alcoholics do you have to have a spiritual awakening to recover. Because the addict or alcoholic, when they have that high, it's an aha moment where everything feels finally like it's divine. That's why we keep drinking, and I did too. We're looking for spirit. That's what we're trying to find. And without that spiritual connection evolving, we can't recover, because we're always searching for that. And I think people are all, that's why we do this. People are searching for that. Sometimes they don't know it, right?
Right. I think when people,
spiritual awakening.
Exactly. I love Carl Jung, and I think that when we're, and again, and he talks about, the, I can't think of any of these words that I want to say today. But
why don't you just channel them, Judy? Just channel today.
Well, we should bring Carl Jung in today.
Bring him in. Let's do it.
Let's see if we can.
Ask my sister to go get him. Look at, every time you do this, the light comes on you. It's very, you just have that
okay, because I'm getting,
again.
My eyes are closed. I don't see anything. Really? Oh my gosh.
The light just went boom. Okay.
Okay, because that hasn't been happening like it did last week. So now it's happening again. Okay.
Let's see. Crazy.
Is it happening again? Okay, Deborah.
No, I'll let you know. Ask them to ask if Carl wants to come in.
I feel his energy. Okay, Deborah, she says he doesn't want to come today, but he wants to know what you want to know. Okay, so the shadows, the shadow things where he talks about.
He's still a genius on the other side, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
I wouldn't know what to ask Carl.
He
intimidated.
And look at all the stuff that he went through down here. I mean, he was taught by Freud and
misunderstood and ahead of his time. I guess I would like to know how that felt, and what insight he has about that. Like, what was the purpose of his life?
You know what I'm getting? Hold on.
What?
Because he's back over here and he's also this older man, and he's just kind of not wanting to kind of be here, but he says he wanted to bring a full circle to psychology. That was the problem with Freud and him, because he wanted to bring more of he saw he had a spiritual experience. He said, I've had many
Oh,
spiritual experiences that brought me to feel and to see that there is the shadow side of people, the light and the light, and to he's showing me like a devil on the one shoulder and an angel on the right. And that's kind of where he kind of teaches, where, and he kind of learned a lot of that, from the Freudian, of course, but and where the ego and having that strong ego and that strong balance. But he said it all comes, it all comes with that spiritual peace, that awakening.
it's what we were just saying, to include in psychology the soul and the spirit, and how important that is, the whole picture.
And it's coming full circle, because now we're seeing so many more holistic therapy sites going, because people are searching, like you said, Beth. People are out there and they're searching, and people that say they don't believe in God, if you talk to them enough, there's something. And when you were talking about AA meetings, AA, is basically, you have to believe in that,
The
in a higher.
spiritual, yeah, it's a spiritual program, not religious, but
No,
spiritual. It's very
exactly.
inclusive of all, beliefs.
I mean, it could be but they've tried some other, it's funny because they've tried other programs that have no spiritual bent in one way, one shape or another, and they don't work. So
Yeah,
it's,
they don't work.
and go ahead.
No, they don't work. It's like a holistic, inclusive program. I loved it. It's a little bit antiquated at times now because we're so much more evolved, and enlightened. It was 60 years ago that was formed, and there was a lot of black and white thinking and the old male patriarchy. But anyway,
And I
I
just
love
love
this.
I just love how there's so much love coming in right now, and so many people that are acceptance of,
Awareness, yeah.
just of the sexualities and different things like that. And even though I don't understand, they're all the LBGTQ, and that list keeps growing every day, but how really one we really are. That is a spiritual soul. These kids are like people, most of them are younger people now, and I don't know, generation, whatever. They always have these generations. So they didn't have that when I was
Like
they have
Gen
Gen
X,
Z,
and
and
yeah.
but it's that spiritual, these higher spiritual star seeds and beings coming down, and they're kind of bringing more awareness, and they're growing into our three-dimensional world, which is having to open those doors to acceptance. So it's a beautiful thing. And
I have
and
a
I
quote
just
here. It says, the ability to observe without judgment is the highest form of intelligence. I think, who said that? Boy, we're both doing well today, aren't we? But
and I'm gonna find that quote that it's in the back of my mind. I know.
I cut off. It's Einstein. I think Einstein said it. Einstein. Okay. Boy, this is what we need. We need more wisdom and more intuition, because I'm telling you, my 3D brain is not working the way it used to work quite as well anymore.
Well, and we're gonna have,
And
I'm
they're
having the
saying
same.
some people's memories are going because we are not going to need them the same way. So let's hope that's what's happening.
Yeah, no. Well, it's happening to me over here today too. It's like, I'm gonna find that quote. I will.
No, I
I
think
will have
it's
it next time.
Einstein. I'm pretty sure it's Einstein.
Yeah.
Einstein said that.
And
I mean,
and
really, it's not necessary to judge, and that it's such a like an inclusive generation. It's such a, all right. So I love seeing you. I love seeing your channel. What were you going to say? Do we need to?
We live in such a three-dimensional,
So
realm.
show us 5D. Show us, something special. What does Marion want us to know?
Who?
Your
Marion?
guy, Marion. Your light just came on again.
Are you?
The light, it came on again. Oh my
Okay, maybe it's okay. All
Okay,
right.
girl, you will see this when you watch this. I'm
Okay.
serious. This is crazy. Good job. Thank you,
I don't
universe.
want to look
Thank
away. I
you.
don't want to. I
Yeah.
don't want to look away over here at
I don't
her.
want to
And I've got
distract
Deborah up
you.
here because I want to see the light. Okay.
No, you'll see it when you watch this. I don't know if we're launching this. This is like we are not at our best today.
I don't know.
We're human. Welcome to the human race, everybody. We're all human, doing the best we can.
You know, and just the messages I get is that, you know, is that we're loved, and they really want you to know out there that you are loved, regardless of how you're feeling, or you're not alone. You're never ever alone. Even when there's no human being around you in a body, in a body bag, there's spirits. There are people who have crossed over that love you.
Yeah.
And you know, Beth, one of the things, and I just, people get kind of weird sometimes about you know, mediumships and psychic stuff and whatever. But you know, those shows, you know, the Long Island Medium, and that Taylor Henry.
Taylor Henry.
And you know,
Tyler.
but everybody,
Henry.
oh my goodness, people are watching his shows, but they can watch it in secret in their house or on their computer.
But when we grew up, Judy, they never had that stuff. So it's
No.
becoming more and more mainstream.
Well, we had Sylvia. I remember Sylvia Brown would come on sometimes, and but it was always
not
kind
on
of
main TV. And by the way, Sylvia Brown, I had a class with her maybe 30 years ago in San Jose, and she told me, I said, what's my career going to be? And she said, you're going to be on the radio. Well, I'm kind of like going, at this stage of my life, what are you talking about? I guess she wasn't accurate, but this is kind of like being on the radio, right?
This is, and you can always
So
podcast
divine timing, right?
It's divine timing. And in her, and when you talk to her, I mean, she's been gone now over 10 years.
We should call her in. She would be good.
I would love to. I don't know how much time we have today, but
I don't know either.
We've been on, it's been on here about a good,
we probably should get off, right?
We don't want our things to be too long here, but I think that would be great. And I feel her energy is very open to that.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? That's what we're gonna do next time, guys.
Sylvia Brown, a psychic channels a psychic. We'll ask her.
You know what? I feel her energy here, and I see her, and she says we're all psychic. She says,
you guys all say that. You all say that, but we are not all psychic. We might be developing that, but we're not all psychic. But I appreciate that. It's like what Jesus said, right? About you will do greater things. And we all have potentiality, but we haven't all hit that potential.
Right. But it takes work. It takes a lot of work. Now I do believe, I heard one time, John Edwards, I love John Edwards. Of course, he's, you know, Mr. Medium. He was talking, and he goes, okay, people might have psychic awareness and things. He said, but mediumship, he goes, people who have crossed over might be able to come and visit you, but you're either born a medium or you're not. And I started going like, I don't know about that, because even I have to learn, right? So I started doing a little investigation on that. Now that I believe we can have loved ones around us that we can see, or we can see a butterfly or whatever, grasshopper or whatever it might be. But and they might even show themselves to you because they're a loved one and you're open to it. But when it comes to actually being a medium, there is something to it, and there is something that, you know, that from a very young age that you do this. I never understood when I was like even 4 or 5 years old and playing with my I just felt death around me and I didn't get it. And now I get it, right? Because they
You're a
saw
medium,
just
right?
like, right, exactly. But anyway, so I think
This brings me to another quote.
let's go. This is our question.
It's not even a quote. It's like, this is what we're talking about. It says, talent ascension. It says, many of you have several gifts and talents that you are not using fully. By June of 2022, your spiritual team will be guiding you to bring some of your less used skills to the forefront. You might not feel fully capable or confident, but you are. If the divine allows new doors to be opened for your gifts, then you are ready. This is a new season of gift rotation where dormant new talents will come to the forefront. Beautiful and unseen versions of yourself are manifesting from the 5D to the 3D. Don't be scared. Embrace the change because you are ascending and raising your vibration. By the end of next year, many of you will have mastered new talents. You will be unrecognizable, but in a good and powerful way. This gift rotation will increase the vibrational power in your aura. Using new talents is going to have a ripple effect around you. You will inspire others to change too. You are a spiritual fire starter. Own it. Is that beautiful?
Yes.
Yes,
And I love it because
that's
it's
what we're
like,
saying. Oh, because my astrologer told me maybe by the end of 2 years, I'll be like channeling only. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But something's coming through. We're all changing. We're all growing. Thank you guys so much for listening to our channel. Thanks for forgiving our imperfections. And I love you so much, Judy. I just love you.
Love you too, Beth. And that's something we're going to talk about too, but and something going forward in another, we're gonna have to make a list, but just our past life together and then kind of how that is. And I was going to ask you, so was that like something for that quote that you just read, sorry. Well,
It was on Facebook, on
was
Living 5D in a 3D World site.
is that
There's
for
so many.
everybody?
That's what it says.
Okay,
No, it says
awesome.
no. Wait a minute. It says many of you have several gifts.
Okay.
I guess, I mean, not everybody wants those gifts, right?
Yeah. And the ones that do, I think it's because of this veil that's just starting to really, it's thinning. And we have, well, in 2 days, we're going to have our spring equinox. Yay.
And tonight is the full moon. It's March 18th. Right. Full moon and what's it in? I think it's in Leo. That's why we got to have Heather on to be our astrologer.
Yes. Heather is great. She's an astrologer and she's amazing. So love to bring her in and talk about full moons and just kind of the planetary alignments and things, what's going on.
All right. So. One thing before we go, I want to tell you, remember last time I told you about the guy who said he heard things? And this time I saw him this week and he said that he's starting to listen just by somebody affirming it and valuing it and knowing he's not weird or psychotic. It's opening up for him and he's getting curious about it. So he still said he's going to call you.
Oh. Well, yeah, I'd love to talk with him, but it's again, it's in the right timing,
divine timing. Same with me.
Yep. And he's on his journey and it's all gonna work. And I'm so glad because that's all it takes is just somebody. Yeah. Some people do hear voices and they're not good voices, but some of those, sometimes we have to kind of.
Well, that's when I send him to you, Judy. All right.
Okay.
Adios, amiga.
Okay, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.
Any words of wisdom? Please, if you can, please hit like. That helps our channel to grow.
Yes.
And subscribe if you haven't.
And if you push the bell, it will, you'll be notified when we do post a new video. And sometimes it seems like we're doing about 2 a week. So we might try to, if we do that, we might we'll see how we go. No, and again, today, I'm so sorry, my brain is like fried today. So what's going on?
Bye, sweetie. Good night.
Okay, bye-bye, guys. Thank you.